Hello, and welcome to what is episode 51 of your Organist Entertains from here at Bellshill Central Parish Church. I wish to say thank you to everybody who tuned in, commented, and enjoyed our 50th episode, which was broadcast on the 24th of February. Already there are more than 500 views, and there are still comments coming in by email, YouTube, Facebook and WhatsApp from as far afield as New Zealand and Canada. It really is so good to hear from you all, and so good to hear that you are enjoying what we're doing. Now, throughout the course of the 50 episodes of the Organist Entertains, I have been very lucky in that Peggy Walker, a member here at Bellshill Central Parish Church, has kept a note of all that has been requested, played and, shall we say, sung on all of our virtual church episodes. That meant that last week I was able to share with you what I called the top tier of our favourite requested hymns and songs. Tonight is a compilation episode. You might want to call it Bellshill Central's Top of the Pops. You might want to call it the Top 30 Countdown, or you might wish to refer to it as I do, the MAESTRO'S Hall of Fame. And apologies to Classic FM for the use of your title of your top countdown show. Tonight's MAESTRO'S Hall of Fame, I looked at the next 30 hymns in our list of favourite hymns. And from those 30 hymns, I have selected 17. I whittled the 30 hymns down by looking at when was it most recently included, how many times was it included, and a few of them were actually included within the 50th episode just because they happened to be requested. So, you are going to see the archive footage of 17 hymns, songs, requests by you, the followers of the Organist Entertains. The hymn will be introduced as it was on that episode, and I'll put a little note below each introduction as to the episodes that request featured in. So I do hope that you enjoy tonight's compilation episode, which features some real good hymns and requests. I've always said that the folks here at Bellshill Central love to sing and love their music. And looking through the top 30 that I've looked at today, you certainly do. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the next top tier of our favourite hymns at the Organist Entertains with your MAESTRO'S Hall of Fame. Back to a Bellshill Central request now. This, I think, is Bellshill Central's favourite hymn. I will have to count up, but we've probably included it in the last 30 episodes, maybe around about 5 or 6 times. It's requested by the clerk to the board here at Bellshill Central, and that is Mrs. Cathy Bryden. Now, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Puts her in her proper place. Within the courts of the church here at Bellshill Central, the Kirk Session employ me, as in they do the contract with me. However, the day-to-day operation of that contract of employment falls to the board, and it falls upon the clerk to the board to be my line manager, my boss. So whenever my boss requests a hymn, I do have to include it. So it is On a Hill Far Away, the Old Rugged Cross. And I know that this is a very firm favourite of Kathy's. So Kathy, thank you for picking the hymn, which I think is Bellshill Central's most requested hymn, On a Hill Far Away. Our first hymn tonight has been requested before. However, that's good. It means that it's a good, popular hymn. The hymn is At the Name of Jesus, Every Knee Shall Bow. And that has been requested from our friend John Hume from Craiglockhart Church in Edinburgh. Now, At the Name of Jesus was written in 1870 by Caroline Noel. Now, Caroline Noel was born in Kent in 1817. She was the daughter of an Anglican clergyman and hymn writer, and she began to write poetry in her late teens, but then abandoned it until she was in her 40s. During those years, she suffered frequent bouts of illness and eventually became an invalid. To encourage both herself and others who were ill or incapacitated, she began to write devotional verses again. And her first collection was called The Name of Jesus and Other Verses for the Sick and Lonely. We sing it to the tune Camberwell, so I do hope that you enjoy At the Name of Jesus, requested by John Hume. Sheena Jacobs has requested our next hymn. Our next hymn is based on the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. Make me a channel of your peace. Our last hymn tonight, before we get to the final organ piece, it's a hymn we've sang before, and it's a hymn that's obviously much loved by lots of people for lots of different reasons. This time, the hymn has been requested from George Clark. The hymn is "The Day Thou Gavest, Lord, Hast Ended," a hymn that talks about the sun setting on each continent, but that it's still shining on others. He has requested this hymn because it is the favourite of his late wife Rachel. Today, the 12th of August, would have been her birthday. So we do think of you today, George, as you come to this milestone of your late wife's birthday. But we hope that through hearing this song, which was such a favourite of ours, that it brings you some joy, encouragement and hope. It is, of course, sung to the tune of St. Clement. "The day thou gavest, Lord, hast ended."
Moving into the last portion of tonight's Hymns for Remembrance, we have the hymn Abide With Me, Fast Falls the Eventide. Music by William Henry Monk and words by Henry Francis Light. The tune is, of course, Eventide. The hymn is commonly sung at funeral services. However, it is very, very, very appropriate for remembrance time. One verse which suits it most appropriately is, I fear no foe, with thee at hand to bless. Ills have no weight, and tears no bitterness. Where is death's sting? Where, grave, thy victory? I triumph still, if thou abide with me. So here for us is the hymn, Abide with me. Now, here are some carols which have been requested by you. Away in a manger, no crib for a bed, is a carol which we must always sing at Christmas time. And it's always a carol which is included in our nativity services across the land. We've had it before in Organist Entertains, but it's been requested again. and that is a good thing. It's a much-loved carol, and it should be sang as often as needed. Away in a Manger has been requested tonight by Mark Nightingale, who is an organist in Hyde in Cheshire. I believe today is his mum's 85th birthday, and this is one of her most favourite of carols. Mark, unfortunately, hasn't been able to see his mum since March because she's in a nursing home. And due to COVID-19 and the various restrictions, he's not able to see her. So this carol is very, very special to Mark. And I hope, Mark, that in your own way, that you're able to celebrate Mum's birthday and have this special carol played tonight. Here we have Away in a Manger. As the extra things tonight, we have two hymns, songs, which are quieter songs. And they are Bless This House, which has been requested by Anne Guy, and On Eagle's Wings, which has been requested by Mary Matthew. Now, you'll all know that my name is Alan Matthew, so you've got not a lot to think about that there's a connection there between me, Alan Matthew, and Mary Matthew, my mum. Never ever one to disagree with her or ever say, no, you're not getting a hymn request. I couldn't not have On Eagle's Wings. So tonight is a little shade longer because she asked what had happened to it and I had forgotten about it. So it's added on at the end. I'm sure you like it, everyone. It's a beautiful tune. So finishing tonight, Bless This House for Anne and On Eagle's Wings for Mary. Hello, and we are back down in the organ pit. The second item in tonight's Organist Entertains is the request of Mrs. Margaret Stewart. She has requested the song Do Not Be Afraid, for I Have Redeemed You. Now, Do Not Be Afraid is a song written by Gerald Markland. The verses: when you walk through the waters, when the fire is burning, when the fear of loneliness, and when you dwell in the exile of the stranger, are very calming, emotive words set to the beautiful tune. It uses some of the softer stops of the organ, and it's just a beautiful hymn which I do hope that you enjoy either listening to or singing along with. And thanks, Mrs. Stewart, for requesting such a lovely song for our second item.
Our next hymn is I Love to Hear the Story Which Angel Voices Tell. This is a hymn which was a children's hymn, and I'm even old enough to remember it being selected as a children's hymn, usually in the first part of the service, before the kids left for Sunday school, young church, whatever the programme was available to them. Now, I know that this is a favourite hymn of June Cook, our church treasurer, wife to the session clerk, and a member of the church choir. Now, looking at the list of hymns today, they're not all choir choices, there's just a lot of members in the church choir. So we sing or listen to I Love to Hear the Story Which Angel Voices Tell. Midway through tonight, we come to two children's hymns of a bygone era, perhaps. The first one is a number that I found in the hymn book and thought, my goodness, it's been a while since I've heard that, never mind, sang it. And it is, God is always near me, hearing what I say. The next song in this little mini set has been requested by Hugh Ainsley. And there was a little bit of a exuberant conversation in the church's WhatsApp group about the tune of this particular hymn, because we had it a couple of weeks ago and we sang it to the tune of Lamento. The hymn that Hugh has asked for and to the tune that he remembers singing in Flower Hill Church is Jesus Bids Us Shine with a Pure Clear Light, to the other tune. So Hugh, enjoy your choice.
Our third item tonight isn't a request, it's a hymn that I've slotted in just because it's special for people at this time of year. It is the hymn, Just As I Am Without One Plea, and I've chosen it as an anniversary song, a reminder for people, because it was a favourite hymn, or one of the favourite hymns, because he had many, of Bill Cameron, who sadly passed away a year ago this month. Just As I Am is a well-known hymn, and it's been written by Charlotte Elliott in 1835, first appearing in the Christian Remembrancer, of which Charlotte Elliott became an editor in 1836. And the final verse is taken from her Hours of Sorrow, Cheered and Comforted, again from 1836. This can be sung to many a tune. Woodworth is one, and that I think is the tune that would be remembered from the Billy Graham movement. However, we're singing it to the tune Saffron Walden, which was written by Arthur Brown in 1890. So here we have, as a remembering of Bill, Just As I Am Without One Plea. Our next request isn't a carol, but it is a song which is a sacred song and melody. It is the Holy City. Now, this could be associated with Easter, but it is just as appropriate for Christmas time. It's been requested by my mum, Mary Matthew, And she has memories of Thompson Scott singing this in the Wishaw churches, a tenor soloist of a fine voice and much loved by many. Now, I know that Jeanette McIntyre watches these Organist Entertains, and Thompson Scott was Jeanette's dad. So, Jeanette, this will hold very special memories for you too. So, Mum, here's your request tonight, the Holy City, and I do hope that everyone enjoys it. Our third hymn tonight in the Organists Entertains, it's been requested for Bobby Walker. Now, Bobby actually has his birthday today on the 15th of July. So, first of all, happy birthday, Bobby. And secondly, we have a hymn for you, Lord of all being, throned afar. Now, the previous hymn spoke about a rainbow. This hymn talks about a rainbow as well. The tune is Ombersley, and it's a lovely, soft, soothing melody. And it's also a firm favourite of Mrs. Betty Toll. Mrs. Toll is our elder stateswoman of the congregation. She is our oldest member and our oldest elder, who doesn't manage to get to church these days through age and some infirmity. So this is for Bobby Walker, requested by Alexa, but it's also for Mrs. Toll, because I do know that this is a favourite of yours. Lord of all being, throned afar. It wouldn't be Christmas in Bellshill Central if we didn't have Christmas carols with the famous descants, as made famous by King's College, Cambridge. We begin with O come all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Adeste Fideles. Using the Green Carol Book tonight for a number of our carols, we have the David Willock's descant and last verse. So sing up, enjoy, for O come all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. As we come to the end of tonight's Organist Entertains, we finish with another request from Alexa Walker. The hymn is Soldiers of Christ Arise. Now, the words are Soldiers of Christ arise and put your armour on, strong in the strength which God supplies through his eternal Son. The words are written by Charles Wesley, that great hymn writer, and the tune is simply called From Strength to Strength by Edward Naylor. It's a hymn which we don't often sing in church these days, but it's a good going hymn, especially if it were for the last hymn of the service. So it's very apt to close the requests part by singing Soldiers of Christ Arise. Our next two hymns have been requested by the same person. Summer Suns Are Glowing is a hymn which terrifies me. Do you choose it? Do you not choose it? The words are, summer suns are glowing over land and sea. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the sun has to be shining in Bellshill the day that you sing it. The sun is shining somewhere all the time. However, I always think it funny if you've chosen Summer Suns Are Glowing and the heavens open. However, we did have this hymn a couple of years back at one of our joint summer services, and in Bellshill, summer suns were indeed glowing. The tune is called Ruth, and that has been written by Samuel Smith. And the words are by a hymn writer who has written lots of different hymns over the years, William Walsham Howe. I really do like the last verse. We will never doubt you, though you veil your light. Life is dark without you. Death with you is bright. Then, light of light shine o'er us on our pilgrim way. Still go on before us to the endless day. So this one is for Hugh Ainsley.
We have a stirring hymn, Will Your Anchor Hold in the Storms of Life. A favourite of many BB boys past and present, no doubt, but this has been requested by Jim Matthew and Jill Jack. So we have Will Your Anchor Hold. Well, folks, I hope that you enjoyed a trip down memory lane over the last 50 episodes, which encompasses almost a year. I hope that you have enjoyed seeing and hearing the hymns, songs and requests that people asked for. I hope that you had a chuckle also with the organists' varying states of hair tidiness, if that is such a thing. Remember, for half of the 50 episodes, we were in total lockdown, just as we are at the moment, so there was no way for me to get to a barber. And I certainly know that the church treasurer, June Cook, will have been chuckling as she has seen various stages of the organist's state of hair tidiness or untidiness, as the case may be. Episode 52, which comes to you next week, is back in the usual format, which means all of the hymns, songs and requests will be recorded here in the church all at the one time, and I'll introduce them and explain a little bit about them and who requested them. So it just leaves me to finish as we usually do, to wish you well, wish you to keep safe and healthy, and good night. We'll see you next week.